Hi, I am Grace, and this is the story of how my own sister tried to take away the boy I loved and how it changed my life forever. I grew up with one sister, Olive. People always said we were inseparable. We shopped together, watched movies together, shared secrets, and laughed like best friends. But behind closed doors, things were different. Olive was older, louder, and always had to be the center of attention. She mocked my ideas, rolled her eyes at my dreams, and made me feel small without anyone noticing. And I thought that's what sisters were supposed to be like. I was wrong. One Saturday, we signed up for a fragrance-making competition. I was thrilled. I had this idea to create a perfume that smelled like love, warm, gentle, unforgettable. When they announced the partners, something unexpected happened. My partner was Miles. Tall, kind eyes, and the most genuine smile I'd ever seen. Olive got paired with an older woman, and she did not hide her annoyance. Miles listened to my ideas like they mattered. Together, we created something magical, and when the judges announced us as the winners, I felt like I was floating. But when I looked at Olive, her face was tight with jealousy. Not because she lost, but because she saw how Miles looked at me. After the competition, I invited Miles to dinner to celebrate. It was simple, warm, and full of laughter. Miles told hilarious stories, including the time he made his first cologne and ended up smelling like a cleaning product for a week. Even Olive laughed. Before leaving, we exchanged numbers. Miles looked straight at me and said, "I'd love to see you again." That night, I fell asleep smiling for the first time in a long time. The next morning, Olive casually dropped a bomb. "I really like Miles," she said. "I'm going to message him." My stomach twisted. "Olive, he's my age. He's younger than you." She shrugged, eyes icy. "So what? He's cute. And I always get what I want." And just like that, I knew she wasn't interested in him. She was interested in beating me. A few days later, Miles called me. He sounded confused. He said, "I've been talking to Olive, and she told me you already have a boyfriend." My heart almost stopped. "What? That's a lie. I don't." Miles was quiet, then softly said, "I didn't believe her. Grace, will you meet me for coffee?" I said yes. Meanwhile, at home, Olive spent hours calling Miles in front of me, laughing loudly, flirting, exaggerating stories, just to hurt me. Every word felt like a knife. At the cafe, Miles asked, "Why does Olive say such awful things about you? That you're irresponsible, immature, and not worth trusting?" Tears filled my eyes. "She's been like that since we were kids. I thought it was normal." He reached across the table and held my hand. "Grace, it's not normal, and you don't deserve it." Then he said something I never expected. "Let's talk to her together. I want everything clear." My heart pounded, but I agreed. We met Olive at the beach during sunset. She arrived dressed like she was attending a red carpet event. She clung to Miles's arm, laughed too loudly, and insulted me disguised as jokes. Miles let her talk for a moment. Then he stood up and took a red rose from his pocket. My breath caught. He walked past Olive and stood in front of me. "Grace, from the moment we made that perfume together, I knew. Will you be my girlfriend?" I whispered, "Yes." Olive's face turned bright red with humiliation. She stood there frozen, unable to speak. Miles looked at her and said gently, "I'm sorry if there was confusion, but my heart has always been clear." The ride home was silent, and then Olive exploded, screaming, crying, calling me names. But something inside me changed. For the first time in my life, I stood up for myself. I said, "I'm sorry you're hurting, but I'm done apologizing for being happy." Olive stared at me in shock. This wasn't the little sister she could push around anymore. A month later, I moved in with Miles. Olive stayed alone in our apartment, surrounded by silence she'd never heard before. And in that silence, she finally realized what she lost. Not a boy she barely knew, but a sister who loved her even when she didn't know how to love back. Some people don't understand the value of love until it walks away. I finally chose myself, and I've never been happier. Sometimes the person holding you back isn't the outside world. Sometimes it's the person you trusted the most. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe to hear more emotional and original stories like this one. And share it with someone who loves listening to real stories from real hearts. See you in the next story.